No matter how you move, get it done. No matter how you move, get it done. No matter how you move, get it done. No matter how you move, get it done.
Okay, people, so Boruto in 2022. There's a wide variety of things that we need to discuss regarding the future of the franchise when it comes to the anime and the manga. I figured let's jump straight away talking into the anime because for the most part, it's going to be very brief. My thoughts on the anime going into this year, let's keep it real. Aside from maybe some adaptations of the novels, for the most part, the Boruto anime in 2022, I am almost entirely expecting that the anime is going to mainly stick to anime canon material. That means getting into more of the characters that will not be explored in the manga, or anime original characters like Denki, Iwabe, those crews, you know, the little samurai girl and that squad. Like, that's for the most part what I'm expecting with Boruto in 2022 when it comes to the anime, because we are very, very close right now between the anime and manga chapter wise, and y'all know it takes a little bit in between to get things adapted into the anime. Am I expecting the entirety of 2022 to be straight up anime original stuff? Maybe not. Like I said, again, there could be some adaptations of the novels. We know that they're bringing some of the novels into manga form throughout the year. They're going to be releasing chapters of that, so that could in turn bring forth, like, okay, maybe they'll do the Sasuke Retsuden stuff from the novels into the anime and things like that to kind of, you know, break away a little bit from just straight up anime stuff and have a little bit of things that have source material. So there's that possibility. But because, again, we're so freaking close between the anime and manga, I would not be surprised that, again, majority of it, if not the entirety of the year, is going to just focus on, you know, Metal Lee, Denki, Wabe, Ino Shikacho, Inojin, Chocho, Shikadai. Like, I wouldn't be surprised if a lot of this year is focused on that. Again, I don't see them wanting to completely, entirely not do anything from the manga, so maybe down the road towards like September, October, November of the year, we might get here and there, like, okay, we're gonna get back started into adapting some of the chapters from the manga that have been written like earlier on in 2021. So there's that possibility as well, that towards the end of the year we can hop back into that, or maybe even from time to time, depending on what goes on, they do a chapter. Or here's the other alternative route for the Boruto anime moving forward as well, and this is all riding on what happens within the next few months for the manga that could impact the anime. And what I mean by that is, and y'all know Fornev, if there's anything you know about Fornev, I love to mention time skips. Because if the manga, let's just say within the next 3 to 4 months, decides to go into a time skip, then that could in turn make the anime say, oh, boom, we're going to start adapting immediately a lot of these chapters, and we could fast forward straight into the time skip, and then the anime would have something, I guess, a little bit different to do, a massive change, obviously, with a time skip. Because let's just say in the manga, if we time skip and there's been some radical changes for a lot of these characters, the time skip for the anime could fill in the gaps of everything that happened that led to these characters changing into who they become in the time skip. So if there is a time skip within the next 3 or 4 months, the anime can say, oh, boom, we're going to just start adapting everything now then. That way we could fast forward into either more anime canon that leads into the time skip or covers what happens in between the years that follow between Boruto and Boruto Z Shippuden, or whatever the heck they decide to subtitle it, assuming they do, moving forward into, again, the time skip. But yeah, that's for the most part what I see with the Boruto anime. I'm not expecting too much because, again, even realistically, manga-wise, throughout 2021, up until fairly recently, not a whole lot has happened. A lot of introductions and setups to new characters and just situations, and seemingly teasing and kind of teetering into the next big chapter, so to speak, of the Boruto saga. But really, since not a whole lot happened in the manga, even if they decided to start adapting stuff from the manga to the anime, it won't be a whole lot of big plot twists and things like that, because, yeah, Boruto 2021 was a year of setups in the manga. So now, moving forward from the anime talk to the manga. I mean, one of the big things that's going on in the manga right now as it stands is the battle against Code, and how Code is taking people as hostages and all sorts of stuff. And seemingly, potentially, this battle that has been kind of set up throughout 2021 and really is seemingly heading towards a climax here soon is going to be pivotal and hopefully lead into the next phase and the next steps of this franchise. You always got to go back to, it was the end of 2020 when Ikamoto at Jump Festa said, yeah, we're about to head into that territory where you saw older Kawaki and Boruto here soon. Obviously, plans went a disarray, so to speak, that led us into all of 2021 still not seeing the time skip, but it could very well happen within the next 3 or 4 months because we're currently at that point right now. So definitely within 2022, I will be definitely shocked, and I will be honestly very disappointed if we are still in 2022 and still dealing with this situation, this bout that we're having right now. I'm guessing anywhere from January, probably not necessarily January itself, but no later than April should this whole encounter be resolved, which would definitely mean a couple different things. For starters, one of the biggest things that absolutely has to happen, and if it doesn't happen here, then by golly, they better explain it very well when it is going to happen. The scar that we saw at the very beginning in the time skip of Boruto with Boruto's eye, it's clear as day. It has to be that either Code gives it to him or it's self-inflicted to stop the Momoshiki possession. Either way, this encounter right here is the perfect time, and it seems that it's just been leading into this moment for Boruto to get that scar over his eye that again inevitably will lead into the time skip. But yeah, I'm expecting between again January and about April that Boruto's getting that damn scar, and it might actually continue to develop his whole eye prowess into that Jagan that we saw at the beginning of the Boruto series as well, with the big time skip and all that jazz. Another big thing that I imagine happening within again those 3 to 4 months that this fight is going to be continuing on into is that if it is going to happen, which I have a lot of doubts now at this point. I think Kurama was the ultimate sacrifice opposed to having a death of Naruto per se or whatnot. If it is going to come down to the wire that either Naruto or Sasuke are going to die in Boruto, I feel like this would probably be the moment. We see that Code is clearly desperate, right? And one of the things that I predicted in one of my last Boruto videos is that potentially if there's going to be a death of one of the previous gen, it may not be Naruto or Sasuke. It actually would kind of make sense and be very sad, and it would really mess me up as a big fan of the character. Shikamaru's death I could potentially see happening here. But here's the thing, one of the things why we always thought and expected that either Naruto, Sasuke, or both of them would die in Boruto was again because of that whole tease at the beginning where, for starters, Boruto as an adult, we've talked about this many times, but he's dressed in similar attire as Sasuke. He has, of course, like the sword, he has the cape and all that, he has the cloak and whatnot, so he definitely embodies like, well, maybe Sasuke died and this is his tribute to his master, or it could be secondarily similar to how like Gohan would dress as Piccolo during Dragon Ball Z, and that was like his sensei and whatnot. Maybe Boruto during the time skip, he goes off to train with Sasuke and inevitably comes back looking like Sasuke, dressed like Sasuke, because ultimately that's his sensei. So it doesn't necessarily mean that this is an homage from Boruto to his dead sensei. It could just mean that that's the attire that he's wearing. And then the whole line that had a lot of people thinking Naruto was going to die is when Kawaki says, I'm going to send you, Boruto, the way of the seventh, the way or where I sent the seventh. And a lot of people at that time with, you know, any context aside from that line thought, oh, he must have killed Naruto. Now it's leaning me to believe, with the love and passion we've seen that Kawaki has for this surrogate father that Naruto has become to him, I could potentially see that it's not necessarily even a death of Naruto. He probably just put him in a different dimension because of X, Y, and Z, whether Naruto is sick, whether it be that, you know, they want to kill Naruto and this was his way of protecting. It could be that the scope of it all, as I said in last year's end of the year video regarding the plot of Boruto and where it might go, it could be that the actual thing that we're looking at is very skewed because we didn't have context. Again, it could be that Kawaki's the good guy and Boruto's bad, and it fits very well because I've said this before and I'll say it again. Boruto as the villain, or shall I say Borushiki as the villain, just fits so well. Like, as it stands right now, the big villain of the series is supposedly Code, and then of course down the road is supposedly is going to be Kawaki. I feel like Borushiki, Boruto, you know, just being the villain of the series itself just fits so much better. And whether it be that he's the villain of the series, but again, it's not black and white, and at the end of the day, we're following the villain per se, considering the fact that Boruto has been, you know, inspired by Sasuke every step of the way. One of the things was that Sasuke became, you know, the villain of Naruto after he left to go follow Orochimaru. You know, he became a bad guy, so to speak. What if, you know, the camera stays on Naruto, obviously, and crew until we get to, you know, him having a reunion with Sasuke all the way later down in Shippuden? What if the camera followed Sasuke over to Orochimaru's village? What if Boruto becomes, again, a bad guy, per se, from whatever happens here at this encounter, and we follow the bad guy? We keep the camera on Sasuke as he goes to Orochimaru. We keep the camera on Boruto as he continues down a dark path. I mean, that is so rich in itself of, like, originality and storytelling for this franchise. I just don't know if they would go that route. I would love it. It would be great. I think it would bring a lot more people and fandom into this whole thing, but again, that remains to be seen if that would be the case. But going back, because we kind of trailed off, in terms of a death of Naruto and Sasuke, if it is going to happen, it could be here. I'm still going to stick with they might not be dead. They might not even die throughout any of this. It doesn't make sense marketing-wise, business-wise, and all that jazz, and just in terms of the story structure, it could be Shikamaru. I could see the death of Shikamaru happening here, which that would actually make for a very interesting Shikadai post-time skip, now that I think about that. And it would also follow with that generational trauma that they've had of Shikamaru seeing his sensei and his father die, Shikadai having to see his father die. That would be tragic, but it would be very interesting and a huge moment for the character of Shikadai, even if it's only anime original stuff, which really sucks. I wish the manga would incorporate a lot more of the next gen into its story, but I guess because it's monthly, you know, they gotta make do with what they can do. And here's one of the big ones that Boruto 2022 at the very least needs to start dipping its toes into, if not fully blown jump into, and that's major insight into either who he is or ultimately what his goals are for the man, the myth, the legend, the guy that has been, a lot of people would argue, orchestrating a lot of what's been going on in the Boruto series thus far. Amado, such a mystery. You don't know if he's good, bad, has his own motives that ultimately still can be deemed bad or good, or we just don't necessarily know. There's all sorts of theories out there regarding, you know, time travel. He's from the future. He just knows so much. How is he doing all of this? There's a lot out there regarding Amado, but it would be very huge if, whether it be during this encounter with Code or whatnot, Amado finally reveals his hands and pulls a massive Aizen where, you know, Code is about to die, and all of a sudden Amado shows up and he's like, I'm taking my kid and I'm going to my other kids, and yeah, this is all my master plan, and now unless I use the karma mark to come reach me, you can't. And he leaves with Kawaki and them, and he breaks it down to Kawaki, similar to like how Obito manipulated Sasuke all the way back then of, let me tell you the truth of why I did this, and yada yada yada. Regardless, whatever it is regarding this character Amado, it would be nice to start peeling back the layers of him, because he's been a question mark on the Boruto series, which has been driving it. Don't get me wrong, it's been very intriguing from the manga to the anime to where we're at right now in the story in general of who the heck is he, what does he want, why is he doing this, why was he working with Kara to begin with and then switched over to the Leaf. There was always a point of like, okay, looks like he's good. He's betraying Ishiki and them. Oh, he's doing some shady shit. Oh, he's good. Oh, in the latest chapter, he got caught in a lie. So there's a lot of mystery with this guy. What the heck is going on with him? Could just be a simple thing of the Terminator, you know, going back in time, trying to stop an apocalyptic future from happening and trying to save, you know, the humanity, so to speak. And that's Amado's goal all along. Like, imagine something weird like Amado is Boruto from the future. That'd be kind of nutty. Him being a massive villain at this point, though, it would, I guess, need a lot of context, because he's done a lot of good deeds, but if he had his ultimate goal being evil and he needed to along the way leave breadcrumbs of, no, I'm good, then I guess it would make sense. But it's just a very gray area as it stands right now as to what the heck is going on with him. And I think in 2022, considering everything that's been leading up to this point, it would be nice to start diving into the character of Amado and just who the heck is he and why is he doing everything that he's done up until this point. How does he know all of these things about the Otsutsuki? Why did he sneak the karma back onto Kawaki seemingly? There's a lot of questions that need to be answered. Like even one of the latest lines of what he was telling Kawaki of like, yo, we came this far, don't mess it up now. Like, what are you talking about? And while we're on the topic of Amado, I am fully expecting, if the character that was in that pod, which a lot of people pointed out that it had the same hairstyle and whatnot, whoever was in that pod that Amado we saw was working on for justice, I'm expecting potentially that to be Delta. Imagine Amado shows up on the battlefield while everything is going on with Code with Delta, and they're like, oh, he's a big help, and he just starts laying motherfuckers down using a powered up Delta, and he's like, all right, Code, let's go, my son, and he bounces up out of there with them. Pretty freaking crazy. But I do expect whoever was in the pod, whether it be a lot of people are like, yo, there could be some craziness, you don't know who's in that pod. A lot of people did point out that it had a similar hairstyle of Delta, and the way he even said, oh, you'll come back this time on the side of good. probably could be Delta. Who knows? Maybe this is all of Amado's kids recreated as robots or something, but I'm expecting that character to be shown, and a lot of people did point out, and it does make sense, and it does look like it could be Delta, which I'd be fine with it, because Delta was a pretty badass character. I love that sassy personality. She was pretty freaking strong, gave Naruto a little bit of a run for his money, ultimately. Actually, now I think about it, now that Naruto doesn't have Kurama, what type of fight would that be, Delta versus Naruto, in this kind of climate? Naruto probably get tossed around. Just saying. Something else that's major that they've neglected since, what, summer of 2020, if I'm not mistaken? It's been a real long time, is, where's one of the characters that rocked the manga for me, was one of the biggest moments of manga 2020, Boruto. They unfortunately downplayed it in the anime for whatever reason, but y'all know who I'm talking about. That man with his mighty fate. That shit, just even talking about it gets me kind of hype. Kashin Koji, aka Jiraiya's clone. Last we saw of him, he was battling Ishiki. He used a jutsu to escape, and he was, really badly injured. And we haven't seen nor hide nor hair of him in any form or fashion. Moving forward, we definitely need to see, okay, well, what is his next move? What is he going to do? Obviously, Amado, yet again, which kind of goes back into us talking about Amado, did him really dirty. Told him, yo, I think you could defeat Ishiki, and then left him for dead, essentially, which really showcases a cruel nature to Amado that sometimes is covered up, sometimes isn't. And yeah, where the hell is Kashin Koji? Has he been in the Toad land this entire time, recuperating? When he comes back, is he going to be more metallic? Is he going to be like half Toad, half robot? Like, what's up with him? How's that going to go? He definitely needs to be brought back in. Something that we had all thought would have been very interesting is if we do go into the time skip, or when we do go into the time skip, it would have been dope to see Boruto training with Kashin Koji. Obviously, I would have been like retreading stuff that we saw in Naruto with, like, when Naruto went to go train up for Sage Mode or whatnot, but that's still on the table. I think it's less likely at this point, considering we haven't seen anything of Kashin Koji. We don't know where he's at, and when he does return into the story, what is he going to do? I mean, it would be a major plot twist if he shows up and starts revealing, okay, Amado, you did me dirty. Let me tell all y'all who this really is and what he's doing and why he did what he did. I'm exposing him. So that could definitely be a possibility, but 150% I would love in 2022, and in fact, it's been long enough. Absolutely, he needs to be showcased, where he's at, what he's up to, what is his plans or goals. Just something regarding Kashin Koji needs to come about moving forward into this year. It's been too long, and in fact, he was such a pivotal character. We never got that interaction between him and Naruto as well that a lot of us were craving. So that's something that it's in the back burner now, needs to come to the forefront very soon before people are like, oh yeah, I kind of vaguely remember that. Like, that's too big of a plot point. Like, for Naruto fans, from fans of the original series, Kashin Koji, for me, was everything. That moment was one of my favorite, if not my favorite moments in 2020. Again, the anime really shitted on it and didn't give it its just dues and didn't play it up like it should have been. The manga, though, is what I'm talking about here. And yeah, Kashin Koji is a very big deal, so I want more of him. And that is leading into, again, something that I've talked briefly here and there throughout this video, the time skip. Absolutely, it'll be very, very disappointing. It was already disappointing in 2021. It'll be majorly disappointing if in 2022 we don't go to the time skip. At that point, we got to call Ikamoto out and say, you said in 2020 that we're real close to this time skip going down. We're in 2022 now. You're a lying sack of shit. So 100% by the summertime, there's just no other way. There has to be at this point. If not at the time skip, we got to be really, like I'm talking about, we're talking about, okay, by June, they're saying, hey, we got to go away for a few months to train, or Kawaki leaves by then. Whatever it is, it cannot pass this year without going into the time skip, or it's going to feel a little ridiculous, because where we're at right now, this battle against Code and Code taking people hostage, and we're coming to a climax at this point. It feels like we're at a climax for Boruto Part 1. So we cannot still be pre-time skip by the end of 2022. It's just, it would be a horrendous situation. Not to mention, going back just briefly into talking about the anime, there's so many possibilities of what they could do with the time skip, of making characters way cooler. If Shikamaru dies in this battle against Code, being a hostage or whatever, that would be massive for Shikadai's character. He will come back way more epic. It'll be sad and it'll be a crazy moment, but again, the anime can handle so many different things, and just in general, rebrand, man. This would be the best opportunity if Boruto is going to be saved in terms of on a mainstream level and stuff like that. 2021 already set up the groundworks in terms of the anime really exploding in popularity. It was damn damn near the year of Boruto with Baryon mode and everything that happened, the battle against Ishiki Otsutsuki. Yeah, going into it, giving the time skip, that is like the last ditch effort of bringing in and making Boruto the true successor to Naruto in every form and facet, including the fact of getting a lot of the love back that was lost from this franchise going into this part. Like, if people see it's just a lot more matured up, it's less on the kiddie stuff, it's more focused in on the characters and story that you really love, it could be big. Like, going into the time skip, you know, if they decide to switch the direction of the narrative and focus more on, let's just say Boruto does become the big villain, or Momoshiki almost entirely takes up Boruto's body and he becomes a villain. Imagine a story that's kind of led more so, which would bring in a lot of the older audience and just in general be a new direction of it's Naruto and Kawaki and company trying to figure out how to bring Boruto back to the village. That would be a very interesting direction, and I would totally be on board immensely. Just really, really through the moon for this plot idea. Not saying that I'm going to be upset if it doesn't happen, because this feels like a shot in the dark, as good as it would be, but that would be a very interesting direction going into the time skip of Boruto still following his sensei's footsteps of going rogue at this point. And while we're talking about that, dude, where are you? Sasuke, Code in them, and everything that's happening there, and you are nowhere to be found. You are MIA, dog. What's going on? We need more Sasuke. I don't know if there's going to be much use of him at this point, considering he lost Rinnegan. Now he's just rolling with one eye, with Sharingan, one eye, one arm. What's next? Is he gonna lose a leg going into this shit? Maybe he's gonna show up and Code is gonna just use his claws to scratch off and rip off his leg, and he's gonna be one leg, one arm, one eye. Just, he's the one. Shout outs to Neo, or I guess considering the Matrix Resurrection, try to say that he's no longer the one. They hinted at its Trinity, but spoiler alert, don't watch the Matrix Resurrections. Woo! Anywho, Sasuke, do something. Where's the meme? Somebody put the meme on the screen right now of the kid with the stick picking at something saying do something. Sasuke, do something. And switching gears real quick, I don't know how much the manga is going to do this. The anime has been doing a phenomenal job with it, but I think we need to focus back more on Sarada and Mitsuki as well, whether it be in the time skip, whatever it may be. There's a perfect opportunity right now. Do something with them. I think in order for that to happen, Kishimoto, considering it really seems up his alley now that I think about it, that 2021 was almost entirely focusing in on Kawaki's aftermath, emotions, and what to do with the threat returning, and how can he save Naruto, and Kawaki being like the Sasuke-esque character in terms of just, you know, that off-putting, bad attitude type of guy. I think tone down less Kawaki this year. We got a lot of exposition and character development with him in 2021, and use that panel time to focus in on the original Team 7 of Boruto, Sarada, and Mitsuki. There's so many things that they could do with Sarada, her, you know, power-ups and whatnot, her relationship with her father, seeing her father that he's one-armed, one-eyed, and maybe even going to have one leg by the end of this whole shit, her powering up. Maybe, I don't know if the manga will do much with her relationship with Sakura. That seems like an anime-only thing, and yeah, I don't know, there's so many strong people in the leaf that they just don't care about. Like, where's Kakashi Tsunade? Just, even freaking Mike Guy in his wheelchair, he could kick some ass. What are we doing? But yes, more of that, more of Mitsuki, his, you know, sage mode, his relationship with Boruto. It'll be real interesting again if Boruto went dark and Mitsuki had to chase after him, you know, the sun chasing the moon, so to speak. And while we're talking about Mitsuki, I say this quite often on Twitter, and I'm gonna say it again. Orochimaru's been very quiet. And I know majority of people's response is going to be, well, because the last generation really doesn't get focused in on in Boruto. You know that, Fornever. And I get it. But Orochimaru's been too quiet. And I think this would be a perfect opportunity to bring in Orochimaru, whatever it may be, whether it be that Mitsuki's like, yo, I need to bring back my friend to the village. Boruto left. I need your help. And he goes and seeks out help from his father. And then time skip, he shows up and he's older. He has an operation from his father that makes him older, because can Mitsuki grow normally? Well, I guess there was that older brother, but was he? Yeah, I don't know. But yes, that would be interesting to see, bringing Orochimaru into the fray. Who knows? Orochimaru's the big villain of all the Boruto. No, I don't see that happening at this point. Hopefully I eat my words, because that would be a very big thing. And Sarada, her eye prowess, I don't know how much more we can go with it because of the stipulations on activating Mangekyo and stuff like that, but potentially the emotional strife of, let's just say Boruto does go rogue and treats her like shit and tries to kill her and Mitsuki, could activate something there. Like the trauma in her mind of thinking that in a sense, her friend is dead because Momoshiki completely takes over Boruto's mind and body and soul. So that'd be interesting as well. Not sure if this will be a thing, but Kurama's return, considering we know that the tailed beasts are supposed to be resurrected after a certain period of time, it would be nice to just see Kurama running around with his giant, well, I guess he'd be like a little baby-esque thing, right? And that'd be great marketing-wise and promotions of, you know, Himawari with the little stuffed Kurama. He's like a little chibi now running around with him and things like that. So that would be kind of dope. I would love to see it, or if they want to do it in the anime as well, like maybe we see he's already arrived, maybe in the time skip we see that Kurama has returned and he's just like living in the, you know, Boruto household, the Naruto household or whatnot, but the anime shows how he was found and how he came back and stuff like that. That'd be dope. And yeah, just in general, there's a lot of things that need to be done, and I think we spent a lot of time setting things up, introducing characters in 2021 for Boruto, from Ada to Damon, which I think they're going to be more endgame bosses and stuff like that, or at the very least helping out to have extra threats to fight during the finale of Boruto. But I definitely want more focus and emphasis on expanding and moving forward with the story. 2021 felt like a standstill for the series. 2022, let's get a move on things. The writing has clearly changed for Boruto. Let's showcase that this year of setup wasn't for nothing, and yeah, get to it. But I'm very curious what you guys think. 2022 Boruto, what are your expectations? What do you want to see? What do you expect to see? When do you expect to see it? Time skip, Sasuke, Sarada Mitsuki, Kawaki's, you know, importance in the story. Who is Amado? Kashin Koji. I didn't really speak much about Naruto, but what do you think is going to happen with him? I definitely think that he's going to not necessarily die, but get his ass kicked again, because it's kind of been par for the course. And even though he has the Age of Wisdom or Wisdom of Age Sage mode, I don't know how much that's gonna do, although it'd be real dope to see a new Sage Mode transformation for Naruto. I'm just saying. Boruto, you think possibly him being the, you know, Momoshiki possessed version, him being the big villain again? I think that that's what Boruto needs. I think a big villain that actually puts fear in the hearts and makes you genuinely believe that they're a threat, like Boroshiki. That should be the big threat for the Boruto series, because I believe that. I'm scared of that. I don't give a shit or a rat's ballsack about Code. Like, I'm not scared of him. Like, his limiters, fuck your limiters. Boroshiki's limiters, wax that ass. And your overall thoughts and expectations for the Boruto manga in 2021 and even the anime and beyond. Looking forward to a really solid year. We had a lot of foundation. Let's get a move on thing. But that's all I have for this one. Thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed. If you liked anything I had to say or enjoyed the video, drop me a like. I'd greatly appreciate it. And if you want more from me, make sure to subscribe. Follow me on Twitter, Instagram. Hit that bell to get all notifications. And if you want to follow any of my other social media, links are in the description below. I'm ForneverWorld, and as always, people, have an awesome day. And remember the golden rule. Anime and manga. One life, bye. Have an awesome day. Peace in, and hopefully Boruto 2022 slaps. Last chapter of the year was freaking awesome. 65. Let's see 66 and beyond. Have an awesome one.
So just go to